Happy Friday, guys, and welcome in here to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. I am Andrew McGinnis. I have Carmine Bianco and Andy Lang with me to break down this massive two-game slate in the NHL. We've got the Preds and Stars. We've got the Flyers and Wild going head-to-head. We'll break down these two games from props, sides, and totals perspective. Best bets at the end of the show. And let's not forget the 6 in 60 segment, because I have forgotten about it before, but I will not forget today. Looking forward to hearing what Carm has for us on Saturday. Of course, we're gearing up for a big weekend across multiple sports, but let's end the week off on a good note with some NHL betting. Carm, how was your night, brother? And how are you feeling about today's Predators and Stars game?
Yeah, hockey-wise, I split all my best bets. The Maple Laughs lost in OT, blowing a 3-1 lead. So one and one there. Hit with the Seattle Kraken, which, by the way, Brian Leonard, 5% winner on the Seattle Kraken for him. So give that guy some love. He is on a fantastic run with NHL. And you can find some deals over on his page. I couldn't get a promo up for him, but I will have one up on Monday's show for him as well too. And then another small loss, but 1 and 2 day for me. First losing NHL day in a little while, but we'll just get right back on it. Couple games tonight, Andrew. I'm not really feeling on tonight's card. I think my plays will basically be what I give you guys on the show, and they'll just go as client plays as well too. But a big slate on Saturday, and I really like a couple games. One of them is likely going to end up being a 5% play, so that 3-day all access is good. I want to mention real quick before I bring Andy in. So a good friend of mine, Mark, invites me over to a poker game at his house last night, a cash game. Prez was supposed to go, but he's traveling to Florida, so I filled his spot. I have never seen Andrew guys play poker like this. It's a cash game, and they're playing like 2-5 no limit. There's about $600 in the pot. These two guys are going at it, and at the end, it's like there's like a king, queen, jack. It looked like almost a straight on the board, but there's a 3 on there, right? One guy goes, "What do you got?" The other guy goes, "I got a 3." He goes, "You're good." And on a board with all overs, and these guys put 600 into a pot. The guy wins with a pair of 3s, and I'm like, all right, I'm not going to drink tonight because I need to get as much money out of these fishes as I can. And I had a good night, so I ended up winning, and they had the game on TV, so and we just switched to the games I wanted to watch. But it was a fun night of poker where I cleaned up, but some real fishes. They just came to drink and donate money, and I was more than glad to try and scoop as much of it as I could before I left.
We
I
all
might not
know
get
those
invited
people,
back,
Carm.
but
We all know that. I
yes,
have a friend that
they're
shows up to every
they're there.
poker night, and we just know we're getting money off of him. But I have to ask you a question. I'm sure everybody else is wondering
Yeah,
this too. Would you have brought up the story if you got killed last night? Would you have brought up the poker
absolutely.
night if you got crushed? Okay, all
Yeah,
right, all right.
yeah. Because on the show, I show transparency. When I have a losing night, I talk about it as well too. It goes
Yeah,
part and
yeah.
parcel. I don't like those people who are just like, I win, I win, I win, and they never talk about when they get absolutely crushed. They're like an ostrich that puts their head in. It's the ostrich that puts their head in the sand, right? I believe so. But talk about your wins. Talk about your losses. You should really talk about your losses more than you should talk about your wins, and just hope that they're not as frequent as your wins. Show transparency. It is the most important part of this thing. But apparently everyone on Twitter or the X or whatever you want to call it is like 80% all year long. So with that said, only a couple games. Andy Lang's on today. I wish we had more games for Andy because I love Andy and his props and stuff. But the NHL with their stupid unbalanced schedule, this is what they're doing to us, Andy. But we have a big weekend of football ahead as well too. And you just did the prop show. I watched you guys. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. So kudos to you, both of you guys on that prop show. I might take that over a half interception prop bet that you guys put the parlay that you guys were talking about that pays almost 2 to 1. One other thing, Andrew, before I get into these games, I always look at the comments in the morning on our videos. Some guy did not like my comment. I'm not going to mention his name because it doesn't really matter. Didn't like my comment about Bill Belichick having the most losses. He took my comment completely out of context because We talked about Bill Belichick being the winningest coach, 24 years. When you're a coach 24 years in the NFL, you're going to have the most wins. You're also going to have the most losses or be right up there. Scotty Bowman, 1,244 wins as a coach, the most of any NHL coach of all time, the greatest coach. You know what he also has? 573 losses. So it happens. Paul Maurice, coaching right now, took this team to the Stanley Cup last year. 700 and plus losses, the most losses by a coach. Wins and losses go part and parcel. I literally echoed what they said during the New York Jets New England game, where they talked about Bill Belichick having the most losses of any coach. So if you turned off the show because you're offended about Bill Belichick being talked about in losses, then you need to get over yourself, guys. Talk about your losses the same way you talk about your wins. You see that? I brought it full circle, Andrew. Now, with that said, let's talk about the Nashville, because I'm running out of words. Like Federico
This
Fellini.
show is sponsored by Red Bull or morning coffee, because Karma's hitting his word count already. Hey, Andy. I hope you get a chance to say hi to us. How are you, Andy? Good to see.
Listen, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys on Monday. But with that said, Andy, let's talk some hockey. Nashville, Dallas. We've talked about this. The overs in this game, the overs in Dallas have been insane. I think they've gone over 12 or 13 straight times. There's something like 20 and 4. I'll get the actual number on that. But they've only gone under 4 times in a row. And once again, it's shaded to the under at 6.5. And I get it. Nashville's coming in. I'm taking this a different way. And this is likely going to be a client play. I don't want to touch the total again in this game because I'm not sure which way it's going to go. Because Nashville and Saros, when he's in goal, he can stone teams even at the worst of times for him. I think Nashville's got a great opportunity to come into Dallas and win this game. But in order for them to do it, I always feel if a team's going to come in at plus money and a good plus money price and come in and win, they need to get through that opening 20 minutes. And Nashville, I think, at plus 125 for the first period, I think it's a great play. And that likely will be my show best bet at the end. But I think Nashville plus 125 is where I'm going to land on in this game in the first period. Well, let's get through the 20 minutes, see how we are, and then possibly live bet this game from that point forward. And now, Andy Lang, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I congratulate you, Carm, for transparency. I don't talk about losses. You just call me DJ Khaled because all I do is win. That's all I talk about. I like to keep things positive here. I don't like to live in the past with some of these losses here. I like to talk about all the good things that I've done. Only 2 games. Of course, we got to bring a same game parlay here, and this is going to be the game. There is a prop that the books have caught on to this one. This one was a moneymaker last year in the playoffs, and it was both teams to score 2 goals. And the books they must have gotten waffled on that one because everything is like minus 215, minus 225. But in this game, I'm going to build my same game parlay with this particular prop. It's going to be both teams to score 2 goals. Dallas has scored 2 goals in 7 straight and 13 out of 14. And they've also given up 2 or more goals in 16 out of 18 games. Nashville has scored 2 or more in 14 straight games, and they've given up 2 or more in 9 out of 10. So I do like the over in this one. And this is a really, really good spot to build a parlay piece because it's only minus 225. So I just need one other piece to go with it. It's going to be Jason Robertson will have a point, and that brings it to minus 115. So it's only a 2-part same game parlay. Jason Robertson had a point in 10 out of 11 games. He's played 40 games this season. He has 41 points. Predators' last 3 opponents have totaled 14 goals. So I like goals. I like a lot of goals in this game. So same game parlay is going to be both teams to score 2 goals, and Jason Robertson will have a point. This is going to be tough for me to watch this game because I'm used to look at players to not have a point. It's the best bet in sports right now. 14-3 in my last 17 NHL plays, all by just taking players to not have a point. And I went and looked, and it's like the same couple guys. The last 8 wins have been the same. That's the same 2 guys. So, but I will caution everyone. Don't just blindly take those 2 guys. I've been fading Braden Shen and Kuznetsov on Washington. I did not take Shen last night. He had a point because the Rangers have just decided we're going to give up 5 goals per game now. And then Kuznetsov plays the Rangers tomorrow in an early game. So I'm not going to be playing those guys tomorrow. So anybody that's been following plays that think, oh, Andy's just going to blindly play those 2 guys tomorrow, not the case. You got to pick your spots in this one.
Yeah, speaking of guys thinking that they're going to blindly bet something, I'm going to throw everybody off. I like your Robertson play, Andy, but I'm taking a little bit of a contrarian spot here with the under in this game. And I remember guys in the comment section a few days ago when Dallas played were like, Andrew's going to bet the team total over. He's going to bet the team total over. It's almost like I shouldn't even show up when Dallas plays to these shows. They already know what I'm going to take. So I'm going to throw everybody off guard here. Look, when you look at this Dallas team right now, guys, the reason why their games have been going over is not because of their opponents. It's because of them and their team total. They've actually had some games that have gone under, but just their team total in general have hit. When you look at this team over the last 5 weeks, they are the second best team in expected goals against. They are being undervalued and underrated, underappreciated, under everything defensively because they scored 17 points over 17 goals, over their last handful of games. To me, when I look at this Dallas team, they're playing great defensively. And when I look at some of the goals they've actually allowed, it's been kind of actually some nice goals. Nashville, to me, have only really been able to score against weak competition and against kind of exposed defenses that kind of always leave guys open and kind of are always up and down the ice. Dallas does a good job of letting their forwards go ahead and play up in the ice and their defensemen stay back. I'd love to be able to say Dallas have offensive defensemen. They really don't. They have a great forward group that goes in, forechecks hard, and battles in front of the net to score kind of the not so nice goals, which is what's great about this team. All their goals aren't really highlights. They do it the right way. But really, they're an undervalued defensive team. I like that Nashville's last game was a handful of days ago. They're coming in well-rested to this one. You get a well-rested goaltender here and a Nashville team that's about middle of the pack defensively. They just gave up 5 goals to Anaheim. Every single quote I saw is about how despicable that was. I'm sorry, but you can't be giving up 5 goals against Anaheim. And I know I could easily say the defense sucks. We got to fade this team again, but I think that we're going to see an immediate impact, an immediate focus from this Predators team defensively. So I know that all these numbers and all these stats point towards a lot of goals here in this Dallas game, and it's a bit of a contrarian play, but I think a lot of the goals have been because Dallas has been scoring, not really their opponents. So I'm kind of expecting here on Freaky Friday in the NHL, an under in the Dallas and Nashville game. So I'm forgetting about those stats here, Carm. We're going with the under, man. Throwing you off here today on a Friday.
Andrew, speaking of stats, because you talked about the Preds, they're on 2 days rest right now, if I stand corrected. So the Preds this year on 2 days rest, they've had 9 games on 2 days rest. They've accumulated an average of 0.444 points per game. It's a pretty low number. Only the Anaheim Ducks and Chicago Blackhawks and the San Jose Sharks have lower numbers than Nashville on 2 days rest. So maybe these guys want to be on the ice more often than we know based on those numbers. I hope that they show up for the first period, and then after that they can pretty much shit the bed if they want to. Get me the first period. And 18-4 is the number for Dallas overs this season at home. 26-14 overall. 18-4, and like Andrew said, Andrew, you're bang on. It's they're allowing goals and they're scoring goals, and of course, Ottinger being injured kind of helps that as well too.
Andy, what was your adjusted total with your SGP? Was it 4.5 or 5.5 you were going with?
Well, it's just both teams to score 2 goals.
Both teams to score 2.
Yeah,
okay. So we could give me a 3-2 final.
Kevin.
I can win and you can win.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Okay. It's something I like to do when we're on a show. I like to try and figure out a way that everybody can win. Because there's gonna be times where we're against each other, where the guys are all head to head. But there's a way with our 3 wagers that we can all come out on top. Carm needs the first period. You just need both teams to get on the board a few times, and I'm looking for the under. Let's get a 3-2 final with the Predators leading 1-0 after the first period. Fine by me, guys. I have no problem with that whatsoever. We'll keep things going, and we'll go back to Andy for the second and final game of the show, Philadelphia and Minnesota. This Wild team, Andy, man, they struggle without Kaprizov. I mean, Kaprizov, you know it just like I know it, man. He shoots so much when he's on the ice. When they don't have him out there, it's certainly a hole they can't really fill.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because there is one guy who has been shooting the puck quite a bit, and I think we maybe only get 1 or maybe 2 more games at 1.5 shots on goal. So it's Brock Faber, and they have his line at 1.5 shots on goal. It's minus 166, and I know it sounds like a lot of juice, but I think we can scrape a unit out of this play. Just betting 1.6 units to win 1. It's a guy that's gone over in 9 out of 10 games. And in 5 games in 2024, he has 16 shots. So he's averaging just over 3 shots on goal. So all I need is for him to get 2 shots on goal. He's been going over it. Like I said, the line suggests that if he goes over again, the books are probably going to move this to 2.5 at plus money. If he gets maybe 2 shots, maybe we get 1 more game out of it. So I want to see if I can get as many units as possible out of Faber here. So 1.5 shots on goal. That's my only play in this game.
I like it, and it's nice to predict sometimes. Hey, this number might move soon. We got to keep firing on it. And Marc-Andre Fleury, man, the workload for him, it just keeps on going. With the Gus Bus still being out there in Minnesota, Fleury's been pretty much a full-time guy. What do you think about this matchup today?
This is one of those ones where if you like the under, you gotta, and I do lean the under on this one. You should probably grab it because I think the fact that there's only 2 games, with the betting that's going to come in throughout the day, this is likely going to become a 5.5 that will be juiced to the over on it. You're probably going to start to see like a 5.5 minus 125 on the over, something like that. We're starting to see some under money coming in, but this is one. Again, the Flyers have been playing. The Flyers have been an under team of late. We're seeing it with them. They're not scoring goals, but they're playing well defensively. There's a lot of 3-2 games in there, 3-1 type games, and then we know what's going on with Minnesota as well too. I think Minnesota really needs a win, and they need it bad. I think both these teams probably need one at this point. And when you get that, I always say teams revert back to playing a better defense. I always say when you're on a losing streak, you get back to basically the core of how you play hockey: defense first, offense second. And with that said, any of the unders that I've taken in those situations, a greater amount of unders have hit than overs in those situations. It's one that I think applies here. 2 teams struggling to score, 2 teams in need of a win. I just don't see this as being an open ice game. If you get some specialty team stuff, like if you looked at the Minnesota game in Dallas, and I took the over in that game because it was plus money on 6.5, and watching the game, I thought there was no way Minnesota was going to score a goal. They got a couple cheapies, and Dallas did all of the scoring, but it's the same thing. The Flyers play a full 60 minutes up and down the ice, a 200-foot game. They don't always get there, but they've had a good season and a better season than a lot of people expected from the Flyers. Minnesota's going to get healthy at some point, and they're going to have to make their run. Let's not forget they started off really slow this season. I think they then won like 11 of 13 games after that coaching change, or 10 of 13, and then the injuries hit them. Unfortunately, the injuries are a part of the game. They'll be better once they're healthy, but when you have guys out of the lineup, everything changes. Under six has to be the only play here, and I'm stressing, if you're going to play it, grab it now, because I think it's going to be 5.5 by game time.
Carm, I have seen some already. I have seen some 5.5s, man. So guys shop around. If you're betting the over, you should be betting a 5.5. Unless you don't want the juice, if you're betting an under, you should be getting a 6. We've got two teams that maybe not coming off their best performances as far as results wise, but I think one team is still playing better hockey than the other. If you haven't figured out which team that is, I think Philadelphia is the team that's still playing better hockey. Minnesota, man, play the same team, multiple times in a short period of time and still get crushed. That's not a good look. Minnesota loses 4-0 to Dallas, and Dallas says, you know what, let's make things even worse the next time for you. We're going to do it even better and just crush them again. Minnesota is not just struggling now on the offensive side, they're struggling defensively. And I watched the last Philadelphia game closely, of course, with it being against the Montreal Canadiens, a team that I somehow continue to watch whenever they play, even though it's taking years off my life. And they had a lot of chances. I don't know what the Canadiens would do without some of their goaltenders, but Philadelphia created a lot of scoring opportunities. I love the way they move the puck up the ice. They're a very fast-paced team. There was no whistles in that entire game. It was one of the fastest NHL games I've seen all year. Just constant play, not much dump and chase. Philadelphia, even though they used to be that rough and tough team, they're a really kind of type of team that carries the puck into the end, likes to have the puck on their stick. I'm going bold here, guys. I'm going team total over 3.5 for Philadelphia plus 165. Minnesota can give me all the quotes they want. They can tell me everything that they want about how they need to clamp down defensively. You can say it, does not mean you're going to do it. At Philadelphia, I think they're going to turn some of these chances into goals once again. I think Philadelphia is the side. If you do not want to go ahead and take that team total, you can certainly go ahead and just take the money line. But as I've been doing quite a bit, a lot of times in certain spots like this, when these teams win, they score 4 goals. Yesterday, I got a little bit lucky, but I had the Islanders team total over. I said to myself, look, if they do beat the Leafs, I think they're going to have to put up 4 goals. Goes to overtime. We end up cashing a plus 140 ticket. They were minus 130 on the money line. So I'll go ahead here with the team total over for the Flyers at a plus 165 price tag. And I think if they win, they get 4. Carm, what do you think, man? Being pretty bold.
Okay, how about 4-1? It keeps the game under the total. The Flyers are 25-16 this season to the under. That's 8.45 units of profit if you have played every single Flyers under and this season, and 19.2 ROI of betting Flyer unders this season. It doesn't mean tonight's game is going to end in an under, but going into tonight's game, these are the statistical numbers that apply to the Philadelphia Flyers this season.
I know we're not supposed to think like this, guys, but when it's a 2-game slate, I'm always just like, all right, one's going to go over, one's going to go under. One's going to be a close game, one's going to be a shit game. Even though one game has nothing to do with the outcome of the other game, at all, obviously. But it's just one game's going to be close, one game's going to be a blowout. One game will be interesting, one game will not. We'll find out. But I think that we can all agree that we're sick and tired of these 2-game slates. And then tomorrow, you've got pretty much every single team playing in the NHL. It is what it is. We can try and make some money here on these 2-game slates. I will add that last year on Sundays, I wasn't really involved in the NHL much, getting ready for football, loading up some plays, going to watch the games with friends. And it was always some crappy Sunday slates. Sundays have actually been one of my favorite days to handicap the NHL. So I will tell you guys, don't just bet the Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays because there's 13 games. Sometimes on these smaller slates, you can certainly find a way to make some money. So, hey, even though it's only 2 games, we can still try and come on here, give out some best bets, give out some picks, and try and help you guys make some money. Also, I really appreciate all the nice words the past couple of days in the comment section on YouTube. We appreciate it, guys. Please, while you're there commenting, hit that like button for us. Andy, we have Carmine 660 segment. Before we get to that, I want to give you some time to promote. We appreciate you being here with us on Fridays. I know there's only 2 games. We'll get back to you for best bets in a bit, but what do you have going this weekend, brother?
Well, you said that about Sunday, and there's only 2 games on Sunday, so they're hitting us over the head with it. 2 games on Friday, a million on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Like, come on, guys, get it together. Yeah. So what do we have up? Oh, we got a 5% NFL play that is up, and I went ahead and attached the UFC best bet to that package. So if you guys want to get that, we're off a 5% and 4% win last week in NFL, 41-21 to end the NFL season. And if you want to use the promo code LANG30, that's LANG 30, it gets $100 off a 30-day pass. It's important because Australian Open starts, depending on what time zone you're in, tonight, tomorrow. And I think we all love the tennis majors, and they've just been a really, really nice source of units. The Australian Open, we've turned a profit in every Australian Open since we've been at WagerTalk, and that's the best way to get all the tennis plays. 22-12 to start 2024. We're up 22 units. So we're off and running, trying to build off that 91 unit winning year in 2023. We're off to a great start. So promo code LANG30, $100 off, 30-day pass, Andy Lang at WagerTalk.com.
He's doing it all kinds of different sports. Don't miss out, guys, and definitely use those promo codes. That way you're not just getting one play, but multiple plays. Great stuff, Andy. Best of luck this weekend. We'll come back to you in a second for your best bet for us on this massive 2-game slate. But, Carm, you have some plays for us tomorrow, man. What do you have for us?
All right. Back-to-back 4 in 2 weeks, Saturdays with the 6 and 60. So let's see if we can one up that and at least get 5 of these 6 right. We will dedicate this 6 and 60 to one of our regulars in the chat, UC Panda. This is on you, man. You get us to 5 or 6 wins, buddy. With that said, Dan, hit that clock. And away we go. Vancouver and Buffalo. This is an afternoon game. We should see plenty of scoring here. The Canucks' last 4 road games on this trip have all gone over the total, over 6.5 for this one. Rangers and Capitals. I'm taking the Rangers money line here. They're in need of a win. This is the first of back-to-back between these two before the Rangers head out west for a 4-game sked. Rangers money line. Pittsburgh, Carolina. Canes in regulation. Canes 7-1 into their last 10 points in 7 straight. Those win streaks continue here. Canes in regulation. Seattle and Columbus. The Kraken, guys. Points in 12 straight games, 8 straight wins. Seattle Kraken money line. Philly, Winnipeg under 6. Much like I talked about, Philly 25-16 to the under. Jets 6-2-2 to the under their last 10. Vegas and Calgary. I'm going to take Calgary money line. They're beating teams right now, even if they're not the strongest teams. They're going to spring the upset in Vegas. That's your 6 and 60.
I thought he got it. I don't know.
No.
I got it. But then at the end, I said, that's your 6 and 60. And Dan took that part as part of my 6 and 60.
I counted
and he gave me the thing. I'm like the guy running to the end zone.
The beginning of the show, Carm. It was a buzzer for the
I'm like the receiver running to the end zone, Andrew, with the ball, and then I drop it to celebrate at the 1-yard line. And it gets picked up and run back the other way. I think that happened in Utah, college football game this season, where the guy dropped it at the 1-yard line, went in, celebrated, and they took the ball and ran it back the other way for a touchdown. Celebrate after you cross that white line. Come on, man. That's your 6 and 60.
I never know whether to laugh
good about this
or
week's
to
card.
Celebrate. I never know whether to laugh or not, or feel bad for those guys when they drop the ball before they get into the end zone. Like they're starting to do their dance already on like they're just on like the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, Carm.
I'm just glad. Yeah, dude, I'm just glad that they let the players celebrate in the end zone now. Like, remember when it was like the no fun league? Because they would get a 15-yard penalty for celebrating in the end zone. It was so stupid. Like, who was it? It was either, was it Terrell Owens who he scored a touchdown and then went and grabbed a pen that was buried somewhere, or a cell phone. He made a call from the upright. He pulled out a cell phone and made a call.
Someone made a phone call.
Dan would know. Our producer would know.
It was Joe Horn, because it was a fantasy football playoff game, and I was undefeated, and my opponent in that damn playoff game started Joe freaking Horn, and I lost by 2 points because he had 4 touchdowns that game. I remember every second of that play. Every second of that play.
Andy, that goes to show we always remember our bad beats more than our best wins. It's like, damn it.
I'm sorry
I'll
we
never
don't talk
forget
about.
that
I'm sorry I don't
moment.
talk about losses. I'm sorry I don't talk about losses.
Yeah. You said earlier. You said earlier that you don't. Oh man, it's so funny. Like whenever I watch games, I'm cheering on, especially when it's like client picks or like a best bet or things like that. My girlfriend doesn't even like when I celebrate, like when they're up. I'm like, wow, yeah, I handicapped this game perfectly. She's like, no. Anytime you show a slither of confidence or like you think you won, they're gonna score, like the other team's gonna score 5 goals in the third period. So she does not let me celebrate at all. Because you know the hockey gods and the handicapping gods will come back to get you. Speaking of which, I'll get to my best bet in 1 second. But I want to mention that we have a great deal going on with myself and Carmine. 7 days NHL, guys. Pretty much you can get both of our NHL plays for 7 days for the price of one. We're both off to a good start here to the new year. Collecting some units. We both do sides, totals, team totals, prop action as well. And this is an opportunity. You guys watch us every single day here on PuckTime. We appreciate all of you that come in, live chat, comment afterwards. And you guys see our favorite plays. You hear how we handicap. But if you want our favorite plays that we send out to clients right to your email the second that we release them, use this package. You can get it at my page or Carmine's page at WagerTalk.com. 2 of us for 7 days for the price of one, $69 for all of our NHL plays. So, guys, take advantage of that. You're going to get all of our plays for an entire week. And as we pointed out so graciously, there's a lot more games tomorrow on the Saturday slate than there are today and Sunday. So try and get this package before Saturday. You'll get all of our plays. And we'll try not to be on too many conflicting plays. Usually Carmine and I are either on different games or we're on the same page. So, and having said that, guys, my best bet's going to be that under in the Dallas game. And look at Dallas and Nashville. I think we got 2 good goaltenders, also 2 defenses. And there are true identities. I do believe that they're both defensive teams. Dallas has actually been playing okay defense. Their games have been going over because of their scoring. I believe we have a rested Nashville team coming off a game they will not be happy about defensively. I think they right the ship tonight, kind of park the bus, sit back, defensive mentality. We're seeing a 6.5 here. After 2 big games for Dallas against Minnesota, I believe they get humbled a bit here defensively, and we see a rare low-scoring game in Dallas between the Preds and the Stars, under 6.5 for me. Back to you, Andy, for your best bet for the day.
Well, we're a little bit on different sides. I expect there to be goals in this Dallas-Nashville game. I'm going with Gustav Nyquist. Will have a point. He's at a point 9 games in a row. He's got 33 points on the season. I just expect there to be quite a few points. We talked about that prop on both teams to score 2 goals. I expect more than that. So we've got Jason Robertson to have a point, but the price is good enough on Nyquist to just have a point on its own. It's around -120. So give me Gustav Nyquist will have a point. Like I said, point in 9 games. And in those 9 games, he has 13 points. So he's been getting it done with goals and assists. Just need 1 point from him tonight.
Love it. Love those player props. And Andy, like I said, we can still cash our tickets, man. We can still both win. That's all that matters. I want all of us to make some money. Carm, you've been on a great streak with these best bets. What do you have for us?
Calgary Flames, man. Wow. I kind of wish I had released that one as a client play as well too. I put it out as a free play, but let's keep it rolling. Let's see if we can sweep the week. It's a play we discussed right at the top of the show. There's only 2 games, and I'm not going to have a client. I'm not going to have a card up for purchase today in NHL. I will have tomorrow's up later on this afternoon, including a 5% play. So the plays I mentioned on today's show are my client plays for today, which is likely going to be the under in the Philadelphia game at 6, and this play here, which is your show best bet. I am taking the Nashville Predators +125 first period. They had a chance to win this game. I really have no lean on the total. If forced, I would take the over, but the Preds +125 first period is the play here for me. And I wish you guys all a safe and prosperous weekend of soccer, hockey, football, basketball, whatever you're betting make some money, guys.
Yeah, if you can't find a game, match, fight, anything that you like to watch this weekend in sports, you probably should just stop watching because there's lots going on across all kinds of sports, guys. Enjoy all the games. Best of luck. We'll see you on Monday right here on Puck Time.